Hi, everyone. I hope you are having a fabulous Wednesday. So happy to be back here with you today. To start off with, if you're here joining me live, I'm so happy that you're here. And I'm going to ask you some questions and ask you to respond in the comments just to have some interaction today. So, you might be wondering, why do I care about this topic, beliefs? I was thinking about that before I got on the thing today because I know why it's important, but how do I explain that to just everyone? So, what happens is that beliefs are what we say about ourselves. It's sort of like our character. So, it's when we say, I am. So, in the spiritual traditions, when you say, I am, you stop because that's really truly who you are. You are this I am presence. But what happens is that we have this ego chatter thoughts in our mind that have beliefs about ourselves that are actually not true. But even more than that, they're covered up and we don't know they're there. So I thought I would talk to you today about how can you, just a simple tool, how to uncover what I really believe about myself. And then I'll give you a little tool about how to change that to something that you do want. So let me start with how our beliefs are formed. So I've talked about this in other videos, but I'm going to start from the beginning. So it starts with what's happening in your life right now that's a challenge or a struggle. We would call that a symptom or a behavior. So maybe it's, I get angry a lot, or I feel really sad, but I don't know why. Maybe you're in a disagreement with your partner, or maybe a coworker. So it could be any situation that is causing you discomfort, causing you to not feel peace and calm, which is really our natural state. So any situation it could be, that would be called a symptom or behavior. From there, we step up. So because whatever is happening, there are emotions attached with this behavior or this situation that's happening. So part of this process to get to the beliefs is I'm going to talk a little bit about our emotions. So we have an emotion. It might be anger, sadness, hurt. And sometimes we get confused about emotions, but there really are just they're basic ones: hurt, sadness, fear, anger. And then, anger has many variations like frustration, rage. So there are different levels to it, but anger is a core emotion. And from that emotion, which usually underneath that is a belief about ourselves. And I'm going to actually give you an example today that I had a few weeks ago. I did this exercise because I wanted to understand, what was I really feeling? What did I really believe about myself? So then we have the belief, and then we can always trace the belief back to an event. So it's usually traced back to childhood, where we formed this belief about ourselves before the age of 10. So it's something between the ages of, when we're starting to have remembering and consciousness, to the age of 10. So let's start at the big. So let's start with a belief versus an emotion. So an emotion is a feeling. It's a sadness, anger, hurt. But a belief is something I say to myself that's a part of my character. It's the I am. The I am powerless, or I am not valuable, or not valued. So let me give you a little. So first, I wanted to just give an example of how you can use this technique. So a few weeks ago, I was in a disagreement with a merchant. I wasn't satisfied with the service and I wanted a refund, and they were giving me a hard time. That was my perception, but it had been difficult. We'd had several conversations. It wasn't getting anywhere. And so I'm on the phone with these people, probably for like the fifth or sixth time. And literally, they're not hearing me. This is how I felt. They're not hearing me. They're not listening to me. They're just, it's not going well. So I hung up the phone and I was so angry. I mean, it was just like, I was furious. So I did this exercise. So the first thing I do is you want to recall the situation or the challenge that you have that's bothering you. Sometimes you can do this with a partner. Sometimes it helps to be able to say it out loud. So everything that you're feeling, I'm feeling so frustrated about this. Tell them the details. I was on the phone with the person and they weren't listening to me and it made me so angry. Whatever is going on, you want to recall that either in your mind or maybe you write it out if you're doing this alone. Or if you're doing it with a partner, just tell them the situation. And then the next step is to say, when I think about this situation, I feel so blank. So in this situation, I did that. So I was angry. I was really sad and hurt. So when I really did this exercise, I uncovered that there were some other things going on. We would also call this a trigger, right? So this event that happened was a trigger for something that's going on underneath. Thank you for the like, whoever did that. So I'm going to lose my train. Okay, so then the next step is, so I listed out how I was feeling. And then I took it. So when I think about this phone call with the merchant and they're not giving me my money back, it makes me feel so angry and sad and hurt. And when I feel that, I feel like I am. So this I am is the belief. So I am, and I felt really powerless, right? I had tried different methods to work with these people, so I felt powerless. I felt like no matter how much I explained my situation, they were not hearing me. So that was one, powerless. I also felt like that I am not valued, right? So inside of myself, I felt like I was not being valued. What were some of the other things? I felt like I am not important, so unimportant. So the next step of that is once you uncover these beliefs, and so you can have all kinds of different ones. It can be, but there's a pretty core one. So I said taking advantage of. I felt like a victim, right? That's a common one. I felt like a victim. So the next step of that is to say, is it true? So this is a really important step because if I ask myself, am I really powerless in this situation? Well, really, I'm not. I mean, there's many choices. I could just write it off and say, okay, that's just money gone. It's not going to work out. Move on. I mean, there are different things that I could do. So I'm not really powerless. And I could also think of other situations where I did have power in this situation in a healthy way. The other thing is that I'm unimportant. That's not true, right? If I ask myself, is this really the truth of who I am? It's not true. And the next step of that is to take these beliefs. So you could even do like a column, like down the middle. One side has these negative beliefs or limiting beliefs. And on the other side, you write how you want to feel. I want to feel powered. I want to feel empowered. I want to feel valued. And these are things that you can now put into your own meditation, your own self-hypnosis session. But mainly you can start to write them on cards and put them around your home. So now you have affirmations and statements that are exactly aligned with what you believe. So those are I think that was 5 steps. I didn't actually count them. But this is the way that we can really look at this and transform this. So these emotions and beliefs, I kind of talk about this as levels, right? So what I'm talking about, this exercise is one level of correcting what is not correct, right? So you're correcting a limiting belief. That's not true, right? Because our truth, the truth of who we are, is that we are creative, powerful. Our mind is powerful and creative. And we are that I am source presence, right? That's our true essence. So these other things are not true. So we can shift this. So this is at one level, we can shift these beliefs. And then the work I do with hypnotherapy and my coaching is we can go even deeper into that. And if you're interested in doing something like that, I encourage you to reach out to me. You can do that here on my page. You can go to my website, patriciamusi.com, and we could talk. I do 45-minute free coaching calls to understand where you're at and really help you understand where you want to go. Because a lot of times we don't know that. We know what we don't like, but we don't know what we do like. So if you're interested in that, you can certainly go to my website or reach me here through Facebook. So I hope that you'll do this exercise. It's really powerful. So back to my example. So after I did this exercise, first of all, I felt so much more calm inside, right? And so when I'm in that place of peace and calm, then I can have the divine speak to me and tell me what is best for me in this situation. And in this case, I decided to continue trying to work with the merchant, to try to work it out with the service. I could have taken a lot of different ways, but at least it helped me once I did this process and I took the energy out of the situation. It really did. It's sort of like I had this negative energy in it. I took that out. I transformed it. I got back to my place of peace and calm. And then I can approach it like a responsible adult, which is how we want to react. The other way was really a child, right? A child who's like, you don't see me. I'm not important. You're not taking me seriously. That sounds like my inner child, right? But then when I got to the place of calm and peace, then I was like, okay, I'm an adult. I can handle this situation. There are a number of different options, and I can handle it that way. So I hope that was helpful to you. I was going to have some interaction, and then I forgot to ask, but I hope that you got some value out of this. I know I have in my own life. I found this tool so powerful. So I encourage you to use it in your life. That is my goal, is to share what has worked for me and then have you use it and have it work for you. So I hope you enjoy your the rest of your Wednesday, wherever you are in the world. And I will see you next week, Wednesday at 3 o'clock Pacific time and 6 o'clock Eastern time. Take care.